Hi, I am Nirmal Sarkar, and you are listening to the CryptoHub India Podcast. We are a group of crypto enthusiasts, and this podcast is nothing but a collection of our Clubhouse live sessions, where we discuss the latest crypto trends from India. Well, this also means you can directly participate on our Clubhouse sessions and become a part of our next episode. Come, join us. Visit CryptoHubIndia.com to get all our social links. Thank you.
No, but these networks can become more powerful and widespread in the future, right? We're heading towards a world full of technology, and I don't know if a policymaker is smart enough. They may still not be, but in 20, 30 years down the line, it can be a threat to the RBI's authority, monetary authority. Not now, maybe. So if you're a policymaker, you might be worried now. I mean, otherwise they'll not have the ability, even if they want to, they may not have the power to influence it at a later point in time. It will become too systemically important. And their communication repeatedly is talking about systemic risks and financial stability fundamentally. So I think they're not. So when you're listening to RBI's communication, they talk very cryptic. So you'll have to infer, and repeated communications from the RBI governor in public domain have talked about systemic stability and financial risk. I just would leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree. What you are trying to say, tomorrow it becomes very big, and most of the people are having those, right? Stuff like that, and they want to transact in that currency only, so it will be difficult for governments. I agree to that point, but right
and
now,
I hope that happens. I hope that happens, because governments are not a very good thing if they're powerful. So, but then nonetheless, they are powerful. What do I do about it?
Right. And also, like you said, giving one more example on these currencies. So if you go to Decentraland or Sandbox, they are metaverses, right? So that is an entire separate world, a parallel digital world, a virtual world being created. So over there, if you have to buy anything, their currency, which is mana currency or sand currency, right? So and that is also kind of can be only, for example, 10 billion. Then people will buy those in INR or USD and will use over there in the metaverses. So kind of our like money from the system is going out in these projects in metaverse. So that's again a concern for government, like you said.
Considering we are also a closed economy, we are not a capital account convertible country. If any of you follow the capital account conversion laws, the government is very closed when it comes to transfer of wealth from the economy. It allows a very easy way out. Yeah, it easy way out.
Yeah. I think the regulation will be also gonna increase, and they might be have, if they have the chance in future to regulate it. You can say hard regulation if it can be possible, because technology is involved in, so it can be possible one day government might have the power to actually hard regulate it, not on regulation, not on the exchange, actually on the project as well. So it may be possible, you cannot predict. Then they might be gonna, if you see the example of SEC now, they are trying their best to regulate the crypto market for them. They are going behind the DeFi's, they are going behind the stable coins, they are also going behind the this decentralized stable coins as well, because they know if they miss any point, then they cannot come up in the future. So even there was the news, they already they are now able to even track this Munro and other private currencies now. So the privacy currency, which in the news that it cannot be tracked. So there was a statement from SEC, or you can say US officials, that now we can even track Munro, and they had you can say a whole year you can say hackathon on that. If you can able to make any system, make any kind of thing that can help us to track Munro, we will gonna give this reward 10,000 20,000 USD for each people who is like involved in that project. And finally they said that now we are able to track Munro as well. So they are investing so much time, so much power to regulate, because they know what it can be in future. So right now we have the time, we can do our best, so we don't have to be regret in future. So this is, I think, all the if they actually want, if we are actually serious, then I think they have to work just like a USA, because I think it is the best example for the governments. And
Right. So Shivaji was waiting for long. Yeah, Shivaji, welcome to the stage. Do you have any question, concerns, opinions? Shivaji, you are on mute. I think he has.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, I think it's a very interesting conversation. मैं थोड़ा मेरे feedback देना चाह रहा था. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
So यहाँ पे there are multiple things. I think एक तो होता है चेंज ऑफ इवोल्यूशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ व्हाट ह्यूमनाइजेशन और सिविलाइजेशन होता है, वो टेक्नोलॉजी के हिसाब से वी कैन माइग्रेट टू अ डिफरेंट लेवल. बट आई थिंक वी आर वेरी लकी टू बी इन द कस्प ऑफ फिएट करेंसी एंड डिजिटल करेंसी. वो पहली बार ही हो रहा है प्रॉब्ली. पहले जो भी हो रहा था इट वाज मोर अराउंड फिएट करेंसी के डिफरेंट फॉर्म फैक्टर्स. बट एक जो बात बोली है स्टोर्ड वैल्यू, yeah, can I buy a product using a currency? That is something which the regulator will probably never allow. And जो CBDC की बात कर रहे हैं, if it is like centralized way of distributing cryptocurrency, then तो उसका मतलब ही नहीं है, because the whole point was decentralized, right? I mean, so why would you even have a regulatory perspective around it, right? So वो अपने को थोड़ा innovation के हिसाब से सोचना पड़ेगा. And I think people in this room are the contributors, or we'll probably create models in future which will actually work for the betterment of the society. So my perspective, individual perspective है, कोई एडवांस एडवाइस नहीं है, बट यू शुड ट्राई एंड लुक एट कि जो वैल्यू ऐड अपन कर सकते हैं बेस्ड ऑन वॉट एवर योर केपेबिलिटी है, कीप इट एज डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड एज पॉसिबल. बिकॉज 2008 का जो एपिसोड हुआ था सबप्राइम मार्केट क्राइसिस से, उसके बाद में ही वी नो what has happened with whatever Satoshi is, whoever that person is, came up with this evolution. And वो handshake हमेशा होता रहा है, right? Between centuries, there's always this handshake which actually happened. अब 10 साल 15 साल के बाद, if you look at Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is smart contract beyond that, उनका market cap भी बहुत strong है. You can't underestimate that, right? Bitcoin is almost like 1.5 trillion, Ethereum whatever, and Hindustan is trying to get to 5 trillion in 5 years. So people have proved that this actually is there to stay. But innovation beyond that, and convincing the regulators in the country to do what is possible, not possible, that depends completely on people and the ecosystem who are contributing to it and making sure it works. ज्यादा से ज्यादा try and bridge the gap, because जो traditional अभी DeFi की बात कर रहे थे, so I'm working on a product which is built on Cosmos as a platform. लेकिन हम मेकरडाओ के साथ काम करते हैं, लॉट ऑफ अदर लिक्विडिटी प्रोवाइडर्स के साथ काम करते हैं ऑन डीफाई प्लेटफॉर्म. लेकिन व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड इज ट्रेडिशनली जो लेंडिंग हमारा मॉडल है मार्जिन कम्युनिटी की है, $150 हम लोन देते हैं 10,000 रुपए का, बट वी आर कन्वर्टिंग दैट इनटू एज अ कोलैटरल इनटू अ डीफाई मॉडल. वो हम काम कर रहे हैं, बट देयर इज नॉट अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सेप्टेंस बिकॉज हमारा प्रूफ ऑफ वैलिडेशन अभी होता नहीं है. बट द फैक्ट दैट वी आर ऑल लाइक tech guys, we know how to figure things out and really build a model around it. We're doing that, but it will take a lot of time. So आपको एक bridge करना पड़ेगा model between traditional finance and DeFi, and show people that it is actually possible, where globally people can invest and things can be possible. And the same workflow will happen for rest of the ecosystem as well. So I think we are at a very early stage and opportunity बहुत ज़्यादा है. And this kind of knowledge sharing and people coming and talking about what is possible, not possible, इसमें से जो wealth create करेंगे वो सबके लिए रहेगा. And I really recommend everybody just shares whatever knowledge and build a personal connect and build something for the next 10, 20, 30 years. उतना तो perspective रहना चाहिए. That's my perspective. Thank you, Ravi ji.
Thank you, Shiva. Great thoughts. I hope you succeed with your project. Okay, आपका CFO दीपक जी, are you listening to us? Are you there? Are you?
CFO होता क्या है?
Chief Financial Officer, CTO, CEO, CFO.
CFO कुछ बोलें तो बताएंगे भी.
हमारे CFO सर बोलिए.
Hey, hi guys, I just join you in 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Raviji, I want to emphasize on one point that Shivaji, we brought up a very important point about CDCs and the significance in the big picture. I 200% agree that it's a mere distraction and nothing else. Maybe we have to see what it comes out to be, but at this point, CBDC has no business. It's just you can do what you want to do with the CC using PayPal Square, and I don't see a benefit based on the information that is released or talked about, except government can regulate it, control it, and it's taking away the DeFi aspect. It's a non-starter, I think, but I want to emphasize that that CBDC may not be anywhere close to an alternative for the crypto.
But the governments want it to be, right? But the government seem to be very keen on pushing it. I mean, it
Oh,
seems
definitely. Yeah,
control,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I would definitely agree with that. Sorry,
Go
No,
ahead,
go
but I
on,
would
go
like
on,
to
ahead.
please.
say
Go
that
on, please.
no, no. What I wanted to say was, imagine this world where there is CBDC, but today I can talk about India, right? Where you have to print a fiat currency. Let's say you want to print a 2,000 rupee note. The cost of printing that note itself is 5.5 rupees, and that's a fact, right? That's kind of a gas fees for printing a 2,000 rupee note, right? But imagine a world where there is CBDC and there is proof of stake between the infrastructure of the country, where everybody is kind of part of the treasury and signing off on how much the monetary policy has to print based on consensus from the country itself, right? Whoever is willing to participate. I don't think we are at that level of democratization of the treasury level of the country, and that will take a long time to get to. But again, people need to understand the granularity of economics, inflation, interest rate. There are a lot of variables around it, and we are not the best people or somebody who can take a judgmental call on it, right? So CBDC is just a counter to crypto, where a nation wants to solve or protect themselves and say that yes, we also have a placeholder, but that placeholder is not good enough. You have to have the ecosystem and the citizens of the country participating as good as proof of stake models to contribute to it and say yes, we want so much of it to be printed. And when I say printed or mined, we can correlate it, right? So I think there has to be a white paper where somebody will come up and say for developing nations or developed nations, this is the way forward. I think crypto has really done a lot of good, way for steps around what is possibility. But now it comes to innovators to really write it down and really prove that kind of a model. Whether it is a company or a token or an ICO or whether it is a country shouldn't really matter anymore. Keeping the boundaries.
I agree with Shivaji that a lot more that space and what we have is a concept that doesn't weigh in, right? And to answer the other question about government across the world are really apprehensive and in support of the government, they should be, right? Because a country like India is way different from developing country like United States or UK, because if you do not control the currency, we know what can happen. We know the misuse and the common man impact, right? So, in support of the government, I think it's the right thing to do. But creating that infrastructure is the win-win solution. You know.
No, I don't know if you just call US and UK developing countries, but India is definitely trying to be there. And I think one thing good about India is we are good to accept technology and we can skip levels like from 2G to 4G. We skipped from Bitcoin to cryptos. We've skipped, and I think India as a country is very adaptable, right? And there's a lot of fungibility in India, which is not there in the developed countries, right? So we are proud to be part of that ecosystem and the volume we have and the kind of influence we can do. After Vietnam, I think the largest crypto influencers or investors are from India, and we know what we are doing. But then we need support system globally as well as the local regulators to tell us this is the direction which the country wants to go into. And I think the fact that payment side of the equation in India and a lot of other things which happened in the last time, commendable, globally. So we are there at that, and we are at that cusp, where we are transitioning from one stage to another, but not diminishing anything. I think India will accept crypto really, really well. It's just a matter of time where we overtake uh, developed nations, so to speak, just on the sheer merit of the population we have and the per capita income we can invest in, right? So I think we're all there, but we need a certain direction and consensus from the regulators saying that good to go. Time will tell that, but
Yeah, I agree. All good points. And thanks for the correction. I meant to say developed countries, not developing countries when I mentioned UK and Europe.
yeah, sure. We will.
Okay, so we have that Deepak. Okay, now available.
Yeah, hello guys. I was just having. I have heard about the crypto. let me express my view about the banning and all those things done by RBI. Actually, what happened, I give you a very simple example. What actually it could be, crypto currencies are a kind of currencies, and why government is banning? They are not banning. They are actually controlling the kind of thing so that it could not be used as a currency. For an example, I can tell you, dollar cannot be circulated or could not be used as a currency in India, but it is a currency of USA, but it could not be a currency of India. Similarly, in same way, they are just banning and regulating circulation for buying and purchase in India, so that the transaction which are happening in India and the growth which will going to be affected through regulation and through transaction through cryptocurrencies will going to affect at multiple levels in current in countries GDP. So they are threatened with this kind of things, and it could not be controlled over the GDP and cryptocurrency exchanges. So they are banning it, and what it could be there, that it could be kept as an assets. You can purchase dollar and other currencies which are regulated or which are being circulated in other part of the countries, but you cannot use as a mode of exchange in India. So as assets you can maintain it, and if you want to exchange it, you have to go to authorized exchangers like Western money and all those kind of things, and the money could be exchanged in INR. So this could be probably view from RBI, and in future you will going to see some more notification in this direction.
I don't think like anyone using crypto as a payment right now in India. May be possible at a corporate level, but not as a you can say not any middle class people using or any normal people using crypto as a current buy. There is not even any seller who's going to give any product. Yeah, I'm talking about the legal things. So banning it, I'm not gonna like say like it gonna affect anything. It is an asset for us right now to use in our real world, and that is enough. Yeah, it have the utility on the virtual world, on the you can say a crypto ecosystem, that cannot be banned because that is not in the control of government. So you can use it over there. But yeah, if we are living in a country and government is going to regulate it, yeah, they going to regulate it, they're going to ban it as a currency, but it should be like you can say used as an asset. You can buy it, you can trade it, you can use it as a store of value, but not as a currency. And I don't think anyone is going to use it as a so we have.
So let me ask a question, right? So, Ravika, I mean, all the moderators and everybody here, what would your recommendation be to the regulator to make it usable as a stored, not just a stored value, but stored value in exchange for a commodity or product or service? What would you recommend if you had to write a letter to RBI and tell them that, this is actually an asset class where it has a stored value and we are willing to do an exchange? What would your personal objective be behind that? Love to hear.
I don't think even the RBI or government have any issue. The only issue they had that it should not be used as a currency, and the second thing, it should not be used for any illegal purposes. I think I played an interview of this former you can say finance secretary who was in that you can say
No,
panel
what would
who
your
created that
recommendation
last.
be? I understand where
Now I'm
they
also
don't
saying, yeah,
want it to be
it
like,
should
anti-money laundering or terrorism,
that can be done
capitalism.
on the exchanges. Now they can regulate it on there. That they can regulate the
So what would
exchanges.
your recommendation be? Why should they do it? And how should the exchanges take care of AML or, anti
Just like if you
terrorism?
take example of Coinbase of FTX, they work with the government. They share each and every you can say details of the investors with the government. So that can be done with the Indian exchanges as well. They can share it. They can track if any amount of like if any big transaction is happening. They can like if it is happening on a public blockchains. First of all, privacy backed coins like should not be allowed. But then if public coins are allowed and they are allowing withdrawal as well, then they can track it. Then there can be create a panel just to create a transaction as well. If any big transaction happening, because if they are really caring about that it should not be used for a legal purpose, so they can create a separate team to track for it, or allow, you can say, tell the exchanges to track for them, or they can even cap it that you can withdraw only this amount, maybe monthly or maybe yearly as well, that if you can say reach that amount, then you cannot withdraw many more currencies, can be in INR or can be, it should be in INR, cannot be in crypto. So this is how the regulation can be done, and I don't think any extra thing can be added. The only thing that they can regulate the exchanges, they can tell them to control the market, it should not be used for illegal purpose, or it cannot be used for, you can say, high transactions. I don't think anything can like anything apart from that can make any differences over there.
Yeah, my recommendation would be to government or RBI. First of all, control this mad advertising that is going on. Buy $1 coin, become millionaire, quit your job, and stuff like that, right? So that is kind of great, incorrect message in the society, and it is leading the youngsters in a wrong direction. Like, don't work hard, earn quick money by just getting into cryptocurrency. And we don't want our nation, which has the highest, youngest population of the world, falling for this, which will eventually, be bad for our economy, right? So that would be my first recommendation. Second would be regulate make them abide by the Indian government standards, or if there are any international standards on crypto trading, investing, or exchanging, stuff like that. So be pretty strong with that. Don't let them don't give them a loose. They should be doing KYC for every customers. There should be proper protocols followed before a person can start making any trading on their platform. They should also have proper SLAs on their platform, like their platform going down, people not able to sell, losing their money, right? That stuff is a lot of happening right now. So their infrastructure and their technology should be pretty robust to support the volume, right, or the customer base they have. So that's the second point. Third point is we have discussed it in the past, that whenever we are investing in a crypto project which is not running from your country or which is outside, right? So when we are buying or participating in their IDOs, buying their coins and stuff like that, we are actually moving the money from our economy to that country or to that project, right? Which can be anywhere else. So that can be controlled by like how much you can maybe transfer from your account or from your wallets. There should be a limit on that, and then the exchanges should have mechanism to report that to the governments or maybe to the taxman whenever required. All such transactions should be visible, so that there are no AML or these kind of things, or maybe these drug and stuff which government keeps on saying. So although it will still happen, but if there are rules against that, people will still scared to do that, right? So that's the thing. And the last thing, which they can promote to projects in our own country and get investments from other countries, right? For example, of Matic. Matic is an Indian company. Polygon, Matic, an Indian project. If somebody wants to invest from Singapore, US, stuff like that. So it's kind of, we are getting so much money from these countries into our economy. So these kind of projects should be promoted. People should be promoted to work on blockchain projects, provide real world solutions. That ways it is good for like both country and those projects, and maybe jobs and stuff like that would grow with this new evolution that we are going through. We are seeing why Coinbase and Binance are investing heavily. They know the techie guys are in India. They can develop the solutions, and then we are also a big market, right? 1.3 billion. So use it in our advantage rather than trying to curb it and making a disadvantage for the country and the youth and future. That's my point.
The first, you can say, regulation should be on the ads, not just the ads by the, you can say, this exchanges, but also the ads by this, you can say, influencers. First of all, this YouTubers,
right?
Like if you see their thumbnails, like buy this coin in 900 rupees and you will be a billionaire or millionaire within 10 days, and people actually buy it. So we have Aditya.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in here. The regulations, the directions that they are going in now is basically on the model. We can learn a lot from how the telecom industry is regulated. So initially there is a lot of self-regulation happening. All the exchanges are proactively taking steps to, do the KYC if they don't need, and they are making sure that there are no illegal activities or enabled through their own exchange. But the problem here is that there is a very powerful lobbying body behind it, like the IMAI is supporting the exchanges in making sure the regulations will come. So it is going to be something like the whatever regulators are there, they will take inputs from the industry body. Now here it is critical that the interests of the consumers should be protected. And even when you look at the telecom sectors, the interests of the consumers are not. So that is a problem that is here. The second thing is that the innovation within the DeFi ecosystem is really fast, and they are coming up with new features and adding new concepts at a very rapid rate, as almost like competing with each other to do that. So the regulations also have to be as fast. They can't be like how the TRAI regulations are very slow and they take years for new things to come in. So it can't be that slow. When you're dealing with crypto, the regulations have to be rapid. So those are my suggestions as for the regulation.
Great point, Aditya. Thank you for sharing.
No, what I'm hearing is that the people who are involved in the ecosystem really want it to work. Right? I think that's really critical. Where all of us are saying that yes, it's the right way of doing it, whether it is DeFi or NFT or crypto or whatever. Right? I think we're all for it and we want it to happen. So the onus is on us to create a platform or to vocalize our voices and make sure that it's because unfortunately India and democratized countries have one way of saying that you are part of it, based on the voting system. But I think now the time is there where we all should create an electronic platform where it is changed or whatever it is, right? We need to build that momentum around and really tell the regulators this is what the country is expecting. Keeping the ads around and keeping because ads we mostly exchanges came here, when it was T21. But the fact that we believe that this ecosystem will grow and build over a period of time, and this is what we are expecting out of it, that has to be vocalized, and that's what I'm hearing now, right? I mean, people are like, we're all wanting to get this done, but there has to be a method to the madness, and if you can put that point across, I think people who are willing to listen the other side, and believe you me, I'm part of so many working committees. They all ask this question: is the country ready for it? Are people willing to contribute? There are different numbers everywhere thrown, right? So many crypto investors, contributors, or whatever. But there is no right place to look for that real source of information. And I think if we all can, with the kind of rooms we are organizing now, we all can pull up something and do something about. I don't know how, Ravi, what will come out of it, but if we can do something where we all can contribute, I think I'll be more than happy to drive it. But we just need to do something where we pass that information back to the regulator. I think there's a big gap, in what we believe regulators should do, and there's no bridge in passing the information.
Yeah, Shiva, I get your point. Like, there need to be a bridge where our messages are being heard, right? That's our intention. So, like you said, you're working with some of the advisors, if I got that correctly.
Yeah,
So,
working committees. Yeah, working committees.
so are they kind of channel between us and them where we can contribute?
Yeah,
Or
they are, and they are willing to listen. They're willing to take feedback. They're willing to understand what the market wants and what the consumers want. And the working committees are very vocal, very autonomous in that way, right? They're because they don't get any feedback, and they're like 3-4 people who kind of take a call. It's a very biased way of deciding on what needs to happen. Even if the crypto bill goes into the parliamentary committee, do you believe that the nominated people of the parliamentary committee actually know about crypto? They don't know, right? So it kind of goes in favor of what their bias is, right? But if there is substantial data where people actually vote for something or contribute or really say that this is the direction we want the regulators to look at, there'll be a lot of weightage there. That is my.
so, what is the way to connect to those committees? Do they have their email addresses or their Twitter handles? Like, how
No,
to
I think
communicate
there's
with?
change.org is a very big platform. So we can start off a thread there and people can contribute, sign. And it is all binded to the number of people who will actually say yes or no, right? I think change.org has, there's a lot of meritocracy behind it. You can start off with that. And then if you really want to build a forum, we can build a forum internally. But what I'm trying to say is that conversations like these, where 10, 15, 20, 30 people come together and they bring about that revolution on what the market acceptance is. we have to be innovative in creating our own protocols to communicate it. There are different tools, like change.org is one tool. We can build our own tools, or we can just say that we'll aggregate stuff and send it across. I'm happy to be that catalyst and send information forward, but you need to have the mass, people who are contributing.
So 2 years ago, I was on this PMO website when they launched the, the feature where a common man can also provide inputs to the government. Uh, so I actually decided and I gave my opinions on various technologies, not only blockchain. That time I was not into blockchain that much, but it was one of those. I also kind of provided some inputs on AI and how that can be used on defense and stuff. But again, I do not know whatever somebody is reading that, or is it just for namesake? So I actually know some mediums so you can write directly to the government. I've also participated in some of the projects which were on that PM mobile app where they ask people to participate in various government-related projects, develop some apps for them if you're a technical guy. So I kind of participated in one of those educational website they were trying to develop on. But again, like the thing is, you participate and then you don't know what happens. So that's
You don't have the
right.
surety, na? If you're sending the message, you don't know whether the receiver actually receive it or not.
Yeah,
Because
although I did get email from them saying, okay, we have received your inputs, and that can be automated also. But you do not know if actually, I don't know if there is a metric, or if there is a platform, or is there a website to see like we got this much input and we were able to convert based on this.
उतना
So
उतना analytics नहीं है आज के दिन, because it's all outsourced to different tech companies to manage it. I don't think that kind of analytics are there. But believe you me, whatever feedback is being sent from individuals in the country, there are a lot of monitoring agencies. There are people from Niti Aayog, there are people from MITI, there are people from every other uh, standpoint. They're all watching and taking this feedback, and when they take that feedback, they kind of replicate it and convert it into a reality. But the problem is, out of the population we have and the knowledgeable population we have, the percentage is very, very less, right? 1%, 2% might actually contribute, download, or really give that feedback. We are all more like a consuming society, right? We rather consume than give back and give feedback, which we are not used to traditionally, right? But I think now that time will change, and if we want to create that trigger point, uh, we all have that capacity, and the government is willing to listen. But they'll only listen when there is enough volume and pedigree in what you are saying, and it actually makes sense, right? If you really want cryptocurrency to be a way forward where you actually transfer the stored value without duplicacy, they'll listen to you. But the problem is we have not vocalized it so well. I would put it that way. I understand there are no platforms or frameworks for you to do it, but if it is not there, then it is the entrepreneurship or the startups in India which have to actually create that. कहीं से तो भी चालू करना है, and that's where the transition will happen. Unfortunately, that is what it is.
right, right. And I would also like to correct myself here. So, like I mentioned, like you mentioned, traditionally we didn't even have such platforms provided by government where we could provide some feedback. But then, since few years, such platforms have evolved. And although, like the two instances I told, I didn't get any convincing response, but there was one app where you, if you were supposed to, see this garbage around your street, and you click a picture and you share it on that portal, they were supposed to act on that. So I have experienced that I uploaded the picture and the garbage was cleared, and I don't know if that was coincidentally or after my picture upload. So I think what you were trying to say, that we are kind of maturing into that, like getting into such platform, but still a lot of analytics is missing to actually see what's happening. So this gives us a chance, like this gives us a chance maybe to build our own channel and something like that and propagate, right? So yeah, very good suggestion and advices
We are at that
related.
cusp. We are actually at that cusp, where
Yeah.
we can actually translate, and the future generations will reap the benefits of what we will invest today in terms of time, effort, and probably not money, but time, effort, where we contribute. And at a localized level, things are happening, but at a central level, country level, that's a large country, right? We can't expect everything. So effort can be put in today, and the result will be in probably 10 years time, or maybe 20 years, who knows. But at least from our side, see, we are all talking about what the government wants to do on crypto and what RBI wants to take a call and what the Secretary of State of Finance wants to do. But it has to be, the trust comes from top to bottom. Feedback goes from bottom to top. Correct?
Right.
तो अपने को फीडबैक देना चाहिए. How you will create that feedback mechanism वो अपने पे है. But people don't trust it and they are pushing a policy down. And feedback अगर अपन bottom to top दे सकते हैं with a large volume where we have great investor ecosystem of crypto in India, वो vocalize करना जरूरी है. That instead of just talking about what the policy will define, we should talk about what we can influence the policy should and should not do. That has to be autonomous, and that right has to be given to any crypto investor, or not crypto native person, but crypto forward person. Somebody who has looked at the ads and they want to go in the crypto direction. That education and discipline should be given to them, and it is their choice whether they want to invest 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees. But whether that model will work or not, I think all the intelligent people here should come together and really put their point across. That's what I was saying.
And to get the mass, first of all, we have to educate as well. Right? We have the mass. If we say like we have 22k people on let's say Facebook, 20k people here, maybe different platforms also, but they are not as educated as they have to be. If you tell them that you have to just give suggestion to government, you have to raise your voice, they are not interested. So first of all, we have to find that people who are actually interested, who actually want government to listen their perspective on crypto or maybe regulation, whatever is going to happen. And also the people who are not educated, if they are interested, then first of all educate them. But that interest comes within. You cannot like bring the interest to any person. If it is not interested, it is not interested. If it is interested, if you want to learn, then people actually can help.
That is true.
Otherwise,
that is true.
Yeah, actually, Ravi, what we can do, we can at least kind of start. See, anything can start from one person also, and maybe people can join later. So, like I have seen Samvit doing great stuff. So, we like on a Twitter page, Crypto of India, he kind of with every tweet he's putting India needs crypto hashtag. So maybe we can make it more like tagging more and more people from finance ministry and kind of putting proper description on how it can help. Like today, these guys, very famous influencer, right? That couple, Neetu and someone, they are very nice influencers. So even they came out with a video where they are urging governments to bring in how cryptocurrency is good for India and what like advantages it bring, and they have like a huge following of around 200k people. So maybe if we start such kind of momentum on our Crypto of India Facebook page, but which is private again, but I do not know if government can see that. But Sambit, like he tries to do it on Twitter. Maybe Sambit, I can also now join you, and I can bring in some more cryptocurrency India groups, which are like people in North America who are kind of trying to educate people in India about cryptocurrency. So maybe we all can together come down to something and start tagging these ministry people and try to give them a positive outlook and try to influence. So that can be one medium I can think of, and then maybe we can brainstorm more later.
Sure, Manish. We'll involve you, no issues.
पर भाई अभी ट्वीट क्यों नहीं करते?
क्या रवि?
बोल रहा हूँ अभी ट्वीट क्यों नहीं करते? ऐसा कुछ है.
अभी में ना मतलब yeah. So what is happening now is there was some thing that people thought that we are tweeting too much, but yeah, it is in times of need we will tweet too much. So I'll be back to CryptoHub account maybe from tomorrow. so I was doing it for
like suppose अगर जो मैं 2 ट्वीट कर रहा हूँ तो उसके ऊपर सबमिट के 10 ट्वीट कर देते हैं.
नहीं मैं एक काम कर सकता हूँ.
I think मैं एक एग्जांपल एनालॉजी दूंगा. सॉरी जोशमिन, बिफोर आई फॉरगेट. पहले आप अगर if you go back to the telecom cost of making an outbound call, the call was almost like 14 rupees to 24 rupees. One call, I'm talking about 1989, 2000 वो time पे. But nobody believed that can actually revolutionize the way people will do business and what actually has to come in. उससे पहले खाली landline था, right? People were like calling on the landline. So there was this ecosystem where people actually contributed and said, if you really want to do this, BSNL or VSNL, what time pe tha, people really made sure that you reduce the transactional cost and really have that ecosystem available for it. And try as a regulator, listen to them, and they brought the cost down. जितने भी फॉरेन लोग आए थे वो आए थे. But what I'm trying to say is the same thing will happen as a human evolution. As a civilization, you will always have a higher transactional cost when you're learning about new technology. And the more the volume grows in terms of bottom line, that transactional cost will go down. And I think वो एजुकेशन फाइनेंशियल डिसिप्लिन और वो बताना बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है राइट नाउ फॉर क्रिप्टो फॉर पीपल इन इंडिया बिफोर दे बर्न देयर हैंड्स. So I think people like you can really add a lot of value. One tweet, one WhatsApp message, one email, it'll add lot of effect if you can translate the conversion into it and give people that information saying आप ये करोगे तो ये होगा. I think the message and the content really becomes do that job, and I think if you continue to do that, everybody will participate in the.
Sure, Shiva. Okay, we have R on the stage. Mr. R, do you have any question, concerns, opinions, points?
Yeah, I just had one thing to say. We have to be prepared for the long haul, to be honest, because see, um, who is advising the government on this? It is going to be the executive section of the government, and they will always be risk averse. There was an adage that I heard somewhere: you find a fly in a building, you burn down the whole building. Sometimes that is the approach of our executive branch of the government. So we'll have to be prepared for the long haul and see out this thing. I don't think it'll be as bad as it's being portrayed in media, but at the same time, preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. Just that much.
Thank you so much.
I have a question. Can you give more insight about this private and public coins and all those things? Because I have read about the technology and encryption and all those things, cryptographic measures to mask the information, kind of thing, for private and public cryptocurrencies. So, can someone throw more light on this?
Yeah. Okay, Ravi, you.
No, go.
Okay. In regards to from technology perspective, when we say private cryptocurrencies and public cryptocurrencies, so public cryptocurrencies are those whose entire transaction is public and is visible on their blockchain explorer. For example, if you do any transaction on Ethereum, you can see on Etherscan like how much Ethereum moved from one wallet to other, right? So the entire information is public. Whereas there are some private cryptocurrencies like Monero, Zcash. What they do is their transactions are not public, so they kind of use some technologies like ring signatures or stealth addresses. So what they do, they route the particular transaction or that currency through different address and kind of mask the entire transaction. So only the people who are dealing in that transaction have insights on what's happening. Like they can only track it, but it's not open and public like Ethereum or Bitcoin. So this kind of gives a secret transaction or a hidden transaction to the general public or government, which can be harmful for different non-social stuff, right? So that's the concern over there with the government. Like most of the government around the world have blocked these private cryptocurrencies, and the reason is like many of the top-notch exchanges don't even allow trading, and so that is the difference.
So, but the government, but what government say na, that private cryptocurrency for their point of view is like any currency that is not backed by, controlled by, you can say, central government, they all have say private currency. Hence, there is no definition. The government even haven't you can say defined what is private currency, what is public cryptocurrency. But like there is a technical, you can say, definition. The privacy currency, somewhat you can say called as a private cryptocurrencies. But you can also say that what government trying to say that any currency which is used as a currency, first of all they want they use the cryptocurrency. So if any crypto is going to use as a currency, it should be backed by the central government, or apart from that all the currencies should be banned. So the CDBC will be their official cryptocurrency, and all other cryptocurrencies will be banned. Then the second question comes in, like either they're gonna ban the whole crypto or just a cryptocurrency. This is what we actually are discussing about. So crypto is not all about cryptocurrencies. If you are not using crypto as a currency, doesn't mean crypto doesn't have the utility. So if we are not going to like allowed to use as a currency, still that is not gonna make any change. I don't think people say I'll use crypto as a currency. So what they actually mean, I'm not sure, but what they actually mean is any crypto should not be used as a currency. The only crypto that going to be used as a currency will be from the RBI, which will be the CDBC. So I think that is their point of on that private crypto.
No, I have gone through the policy, and I have seen the thing. They have mentioned what I have just read before, that it could be a mask one on this. I don't have much technical idea about the thing. So, but
So
they
the
are.
privacy coins are, you can say privacy coins are, you can say banned by many countries. Even in recently, I think South Korea also banned it. So that is a different thing, and I think India will also ban it. Maybe on not this on this bill, then they will be doing in future as well. But the main point is right now what they are calling it private currency. So like whatever you did, I'm not sure about what that actually mean it, but from my point of view, like, if you go technical way, that the private currency is actually the privacy coins. But if you see the government view right now, they are not talking about the technical aspect, they are talking about the actual currency. So they might be just talking about the any crypto which is used as a currency, because majority of the people are calling crypto as a currency, they're comparing it with the INR, and like that's why maybe this is the reason why they have to declare it that only CDBC will be the official cryptocurrency India, and all other crypto will be banned. So they are calling them private cryptocurrency. So there is a difference between crypto and cryptocurrencies.
So
That is the.
What is
so I think Deepak, one second. You said something that you read somewhere that government is talking about mask. Where did you read that, and what was that statement?
Yeah, please 1 minute. They are they have elaborated that cryptocurrencies, cryptocurrency uses several cryptographic measures to mask this information. This means on the network of private cryptocurrency, the wallet addresses will be masked or hidden, and the detail of the transaction may be hidden or so on. This allows user the level of privacy, and this is not available in counterpart, which you have just talked about. This is
Yes.
only there.
Yeah, so this is basically privacy coin, which I tried
Yes.
to explain. But where did you
Yes.
read this? I want to know is it a government document?
So, please keep it quite secret. I will back channel you if you require the thing.
Okay, thank you for the insider. Yeah, so
I think
they have this.
there was a report by Niti Aayog as well on public and private. They mentioned Bitcoin as a public cryptocurrency over there. Cryptocurrency or blockchain, I'm not remember, but they listed Bitcoin as in a public section. I think the you can say article is still public, and if you Google about that, you can find on the first or second link. So it can be possible, but I don't think they are actually going to just ban that privacy coins, because we know even if they are banning the privacy coins, do you think any other crypto will be considered as a currency? No, it is not going to be accepted as a legal tender, and that is, we surely know it. So I think that is the actual statement, and in future they might be then ban this privacy coin as well.
You have told about which is allowed in India, which cryptocurrency?
CDBC will be presented with the bill, so CDBC will be our
Pardon,
official crypto.
CBBC.
No,
CDBC,
no,
that will be central bank.
CBDC,
CBDC, sorry.
centrally backed digital
CDBC,
currency.
okay.
So that will be a government backed digital currency. But when I don't know what you mean by which cryptocurrency will be allowed in India. So we are waiting for that, right? Like all these public cryptocurrencies, blockchain, sorry, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, ADA, will they be allowed to be trade, like not legal tender or like medium of exchange, but for trading and investing, will they still allow that? That's what we are discussing. But yeah, what you said about that masking, right? The definition which you gave, that is exactly what Monero does. What it does is it has this ring signatures. So what it does, the sender's address is kind of grouped with multiple, like many addresses. So you cannot identify like who sent this transaction because there are multiple. It's a wrapping. They mask it with. So yeah, I think then it's privacy. Yeah, Vinny ji was trying.
No, that's right. I can understand what Deepak's saying is a very broad strike by the government, and it will be like that to say, hey, we won't allow privacy coins, altcoins, or shit coins, whatever you call them. Right? That's a good thing. But the regulatory aspect has to evolve a little bit, and I don't know, guys, if there is always some first adopter. Back to Shiva's point about telecommunication. It, the reason the 14 rupees went to a affordable price and opened up the private investments into the sector, there's always the first adopter. Who is the first adopters in policy making? Number one, and then the first adopters in the big private sector. I think these are the guys who will rally this and help the government steer towards a knowledgeable, a robust, knowledgeable, I'll say.
Exactly. And I think there are some first adopters in India on the crypto space. There are certain blockchain projects that are being run, but maybe they are not that influential right now. And they'll become big someday. So, yes, that's so. Ravi and Samit, I have go out for something, so maybe I'll leave the room.
Also, me also. So I think we can wrap it here.
But I think
Or if Sambit
Tan
is
came onto the stage, we can just hear his views before wrapping it. So
okay, 10 surveys by also.
Tan and Sarvesh, any views, any points?
I would just say that no country can, fortunately or unfortunately, no country can ban any cryptocurrency. They can ban exchanges from holding those cryptocurrencies. But the whole point of blockchain is that no one can regulate it, you cannot sanction it, you cannot seize it, you cannot do anything with any cryptocurrency. So, as much as they would want to do that, they have no power, they are powerless in even banning Monero or any of these currencies, because now you have decentralized exchanges. So there is no WazirX, there is no Nishal Shetty, there is no CoinDCX CEO founder that you can go after, because these are decentralized exchanges. They're called DEXs, PancakeSwap, your Uniswap, and all of these other things. So fortunately or unfortunately, whatever it is, I don't think that it's any of this can happen. It's more of filibuster that politics doing. But yeah, that is something that you should take into account, that no one can ban any cryptocurrency, whether you want to call it a currency, even though it's not, it's only an asset. The point of a cryptocurrency is point of a currency is that you part with or to pay your electricity bill, right? And if you in fact believe in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or any of these other cryptos, and you are long-term hodler in them, right? Why would you part with them to pay electricity bill or buy a bread or buy milk or whatever it is, right? So it defies logic to even think of them as currencies, and it's only naive people who would think that cryptos are a currency. They're not, and they will never be a currency. They are an asset class, and that is what they are. Whether you want to call it a commodity like gold or silver or whatever it is, and even that cannot be banned, because let's assume I have a gold coin. Now, gold is not a legal tender, but if I go to a shop to buy shoes, if I give them the gold, I don't think even a single person in India will say no to, right? Similar is that is how peer-to-peer transactions work. I have a shoe I want to sell you. You have a gold coin or a silver coin. If I'm happy to accept it, transaction done, right? That is what every government is scared of, because you cut them out of the transaction and they have no power to audit it. So that's all I'd like to add to the conversation, because a lot of people I hear don't know much they are talking about. And if I would, if I would to advise anything to the government, I would advise them to buy a laptop and invest some time in Google and learn how cryptos work, how blockchain works, and how decentralized exchanges or assets or whatever it is, how do they work.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, we already discussed each and everything. So, there will be some people who will be kind of a believer, or you can say believer of crypto. So, they will talk about the crypto. Uh, there will be some guy who will be always talk in the favor of government, irrespective of which party actually in the government. It doesn't matter if we are a believer of that particular political party, he will be talking in favor of that party. So, but the thing is, if you are enough educated and if you understand how does it works, and then if you talk about that, that means there are some people who just invested into any crypto and they don't have much knowledge, but still they are blaming government that why are banning, because we had that enough chance to make money, but after the ban I will not be able to make money, which is not it doesn't make any sense. But even
And it's not true because they
yes,
cannot ban anything. It's not
yeah,
true because they
no,
cannot
because
ban anything.
so even that is what I'm talking about. They don't have that much education, so they don't even know about that. It cannot be banned even. They just joined the crypto as an investment, and there was a FOMO. They now had a good portfolio, maybe making good amount, but still they don't know how does this crypto ecosystem works.
Yeah,
So
and so 10, the government cannot ban it, but government can choke the system, right? Like if you can't sell your crypto, then what you will do with that? If you are there for making money and there are no exchanges which are allowing to sell it anymore, it is sitting in your wallet. What will you do? You have to send it out of the country, get it exchanged, stuff like that, right? So government can make it difficult. Uh, they can't ban the technology, obviously. Everybody knows that, but government can make it difficult for common man to adopt it. Like people like you, me can understand pancakes or stuff like that. We can have friends across the world where we can get that exchange in currencies. But what about a common person who has just got into, Wazirex and he's trying to sell his coin?
So
Where he'll go, right?
to address that
That's the
I
thing.
point, we were
Sorry, Aditya,
yeah.
can I just make one small point? Sorry, and I'll yield the mic to you. So yesterday, you guys were having this conversation in this room, and I was listening yesterday, and I think one gentleman said, "See, the end of the day, the onus is on you as a person who's dabbling into it, right? So you have buyer beware is the thing that you have to understand from get go, because you are your custodian. You control everything, which is why it was launched in the first place. So whether you understand the risks or not, all of that risk is on. If you understand, good, you should. If you don't, I highly advise that you Google and you understand how that works. It's no different than activating two-factor authentication. If you don't and you get hacked, that's on you. You cannot then reach out to someone and say, you cannot go and cry that, oh, someone hacked my wallet. The onus of security and everything is on you, and that is the difference. That is the whole argument of decentralization, right? But sorry, I just wanted to add that. Over to you, Aditya. I'm so sorry to.
Yeah, even Ravi said it before. Like you cannot really ban it,
And Tanmay, very nice seeing you after a very long time. Thanks for coming.
and even when we were under really oppressive crypto regulations, the exchanges were up. Like WazirX was facilitating P2P transactions, and Dunocoin was allowing you to buy crypto even then. So there is no way that even in the worst case scenario that crypto can fundamentally.
no, we haven't had any bill, no? Like it was a kind of restriction by the RBI. There was no proper ban on the crypto. Exchanges were asked to be shut down the business. That is, there were multiple exchanges we were running at that time as well. But that was not a proper ban. Hence, it is cannot be banned. But the only thing is they can restrict it, and the people who are into crypto is understand how does it work. We're gonna be participate, but then the mass will left it. So I don't think government gonna do it even, because they know it is involved in technology, so they cannot go beyond it. So they cannot ban it. India is also, like you can say, partially dependent on the technology as well. So if they are going against the tech, that gonna you can say backfire in the future as well. I don't think even government is going to, even if they don't understand, there will be some panel, so there will be some experts who will be gonna be suggesting government that it cannot be possible. Like if we take the scenario, the last meeting which was held between this government officials and this BACC. So there was a statement, multiple statements from that meeting, that that experts like from there was I think professor from IIM Ahmedabad who said that it cannot be banned, and this is what I suggest to the government. It cannot be banned, but it should be regulated. So they understand. Even there was a statement from the government officials as well. as a source that government say that yeah, we know we cannot ban it, but we cannot, you can say, leave it unregulated. So it can be it have to be regulated, and we know the regulated, what the actual regulated means, like they're going to regulate the exchanges, because the regulation cannot become under crypto. So they are still understanding, and yeah, no, like it's been 3 years they are trying to make a bill how to ban it. First of all, the statement was they are trying, they are going to ban it, but then they took 3 years to understand it, and now they understand we cannot actually ban it. So now, but at least we can regulate it, not the crypto, but at the way to buy it, the way to trade on it, the way to use the crypto. Actually it can be regulated, not for everyone, but at least to the mass audience who just came into the crypto. Maybe they have a different reason, so cannot talk about on that. But yeah, it cannot be banned. I think most of the people now understand. Whoever joined the crypto, now they know somewhere from the internet, of like so any interviews they listen, any influencers talking about the crypto, how does it work. So they may not be understand it, you can say, deep level, but at least they know it cannot be banned, because that is actually the, you can say, tech. So like, if anyone have to add anything, you can add, or otherwise we can wrap this.
There is a middle ground, though, Ravi. I think the government can do something, and that something is take away the advantage of owning a Bitcoin. But they're essentially stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because that would mean that they copy Bitcoin exactly as same, which means that they cannot print rupee as they like. They would have to make it decentralized. They would have to fix the supply, which has to be limited, and then either they can choose to build it on top of proof of work or proof of stake. So that is something that they could do, which would essentially render Bitcoin useless, because you have the same characteristics. Let's call it India coin. So if India was to launch a India coin, that would basically render Bitcoin useless, because it has exact same characteristics. The only difference is, instead of being Bitcoin, it is India coin, and then you can have all the open source accountability, everything, whatever you want. But that is the only middle ground that the government can do, which is a win-win situation in which they win and the people that are in crypto win as well.
They are against the volatility, so I don't think they're gonna that make a copy of Bitcoin first place. And the second place, even if they are going to do that, that will be controlled and centralized for sure. And when the people actually understand the concept of this, they will compare what is the difference between Bitcoin and that India coin, whatever the government. They will find the difference over that is a regulated thing, and this is not the actual purpose of cryptocurrencies. Why the cryptocurrency was made? If it can be controlled, then there is no use. It has been like backed by the government, maybe working like a crypto Bitcoin, but still it is being controlled. So depends, like we will see if it can be possible or not. I don't think like government going to do that. The max they will go for the CDBC, and maybe possible in future they will try to do that as well. So as of now, I'm just hoping that they will become with the CDBC and just regulate this crypto exchanges and allow us to only trades, which people are actually doing that. So had a good conversation here, and we will try to so everyone, thank you for joining, and have a good night.
You were listening to the CryptoHub India podcast. Do follow us wherever you are listening, so that you get notified about the latest episodes as soon as they're out. We are active on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Telegram and Clubhouse. Visit CryptoHubIndia.com to get all our social links. This is Nirmal Sarkar signing off. Thank you.